underway here at the last game of the Check Me Out Showcase from the Underclass division. This one features Team 16 going against Team 18. Marcus Burnett joined by Kelsey Plum and the Chris Hippa here on site. Bittersweet game here. We've got a good matchup, but this will be our last one of what's been a great Check Me Out Showcase. Check her out, number 7 with the triple. That's Hannah Wheeler.
You know, and kind of going off our last game, her and Left are actually teammates and actually attend the same school. So we talk a lot about a good post player. It's always nice to have a good guard and a good guard to have a good big. So those guys are going to probably have a lot of success in Austin.
That Nicole Left archive, it's already waiting for you after this one wraps up. You can check that one out and see prime examples of what we've talked about in terms of Left's ability. That jumper's off the mark, so we'll go over to Team 16.
You know, Marcus, I'd like to hear your thoughts on. When I watch kids that play from Texas, there's always something about them that just, I don't know if it's a toughness, the extra aggressive. Obviously, it depends on the actual player, but there seems to be a similarity component with kids that play in Texas.
Yeah, I think, we talked about the different areas of the country and how they all have their own, I guess, brand of basketball, for lack of a better word, and style. I think with the Texas kids, I think there's just so much athleticism in that state. You see a lot of confident kids, and, you look at the pipeline of players that have come to the Check Me Out Showcase from there. Amber Ramirez, one of the multiple McDonald's All-Americans that have come through here. Rasay Caldwell, those type of players really reflect what you see well. Just a nice blend of athlete, but also go-getters. They're looking to come up here and go against the country's best. So they sort of earned that stigma.
Reagan Reed, good athlete.
The last game we watched her play, she had some nice takes to the hole, just isolation, crossovers, and ones. She plays aggressive, and I like the way she plays. She's tough.
And the thing I like about her, too, is not only is she a good athlete, you can tell she's skilled.
Yes, she is.
She actually works on her game a little bit.
She has a good handle, for sure.
I love to see that athleticism mixed with the skill. That one is floated up with by number 93, Jalen Turner, because you see some players that have so much athleticism, you can't help but to ask the question, are they going to rest on their laurels when it comes to that, being such a good athlete, or are they really going to hone in on those skills? You like to be able to see players that have a good balance of that, especially here in this underclass division.
Keely Burton just stepped out and hit a jumper. I haven't seen her done that yet this camp, but she has been a monster inside.
What year is she?
She is a 7th grader.
She's a 7th grader right now, so yeah, she's got good size.
Yeah, I was able to see her a couple games ago. We didn't stream that game, but I wish we had. She was just beasting on the inside.
Some I'd like to see during this game too. This is the last game of camp, and I know kids are tired. Is who's going to bring the most energy? Who's still playing hard now? Because it's easy though when camp starts, but it's tough though at the very end of camp. Reagan Reed, tough.
Still got juice in the tank there. She knocks that one down right in front of the Elite is Earned signage over there, trying to reflect that mantra. Nice bucket through the contact there. Her second score of the contest, number 93, Jalen Turner.
I think it's a good, tag. Elite is Earned. It's, there's a lot of elite camps, and I think that a lot of kids go to these camps that are called elite, and they walk around with these shirts that say elite, and they feel like they're elite. Well, I think the one thing that, Chris has done with this camp is he's added the is earned, and elite is earned. Elite isn't for everybody. Elite is a class by itself, and there's not a lot of folks in that elite class. So, I really like the Elite is Earned because it gives kids a chance, though, to know that you have to work for elite.
It's a great point, man. Elite is more overused than that crying Jordan face.
I don't know about that, actually. That crying Jordan face, man, is used every single time something goes bad in sports.
But what messes it up is that you find those that really catch you and you have no choice but to have a good laugh.
True.
So, you get tired of it, but then you see one that ends up making you laugh for 5 minutes.
Right.
That's so true.
We'll have some substitutions here early on. 11 minutes, 21 seconds remaining here in the first half. A 2-point game, 7-9.
You know, social media has become ridiculous in some of the memes that come out. I saw a meme the other day of the Cam Newton Super Bowl where he should have dove on the ball, and they had the track woman from the Bahamas that dove across the gold medal line, diving in the football field for the ball. Oh, no. Oh, no. Did you see that?
I gotta check that one out.
Well, but the thing is, though, too, is that, you know, you might think that, okay, well, you know, he played in that game last year and it's long gone. But once they have something, though, that will match it, it comes right back in the mix.
So true.
Keely Burton got another bucket. This time it was there on the inside, and they're on the other end of the floor. Here we're going to have a trip to the line. Number 207, Tierra Holloman.
Where do you go next, Marcus?
Next, we are back in Atlanta. We have a camp there that'll be the second week in September. So there's a boys elite camp that'll be there. I have players from the Southeast primarily, and then after that, man, we get ready for the high school hoop season. We'll do over 15 tournaments and 206 broadcasts, man. So really looking forward to that.
Love it.
That's pretty cool. Watching all these games and broadcasting, have you, I have, I guess, a two-part question. What's the best performance from a female that you've seen in club or in high school in the last 5 years, and who do you enjoy watching the most?
Wow, that is a great question. I would have to say Jackie Young, that's headed to Notre Dame, played for Indy Lady Gym Rats. I would have to say she had one of the best performances I've seen. Oh, man, but then you got Kelsey Mitchell, who's had some great performances against some top-tier competition. So I'm going to give those two ladies co-best performances when it comes to what they've been able to do individually. And both of them had their own different paths to get there, I guess. Kelsey has always been, you know, that leader at the point guard position. Jackie Young developed a little later, you know, put on some mass and really took her game off, you know, from there, use it as a launching pad. But I would have to say those two ladies were probably the most impressive. Now I'm going to cut that answer off there because I'd say within the next 2 minutes, probably 3 or 4 more performances are going to pop up. It's hard to choose.
Yeah, that would be tough.
With the ball right now, it's number 28. That's Natalie Fraley. Fraley with the offensive board. She'll bring it back out. Yeah, that was gonna be a tough matchup there. You had number 73, Kiera Hansen, there trying to wrestle a ball away from Burton. Daunting task. Burton will go to the free throw line.
You ever been playing pickup and no one wants to guard the big guy, so you have to? You been there before?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a tough one, too, because you're just too competitive. You don't want to lose, but, man, you're trying to figure out how to fight in front, behind, trying to sit on them, knee them in the butt, do whatever you need to do.
Well, but you said the key word. I mean, you said pickup. So most of the time during that time, you're playing with, you know, with 4 guys that don't know how to play help side when you front.
Yes.
That don't know what to do. So you're really on an island by yourself against the big, and that's really tough.
And hey, if it's a good big, it's still survival of the fittest. You know, you got to try to lock him up too. But if you're playing pickup, hopefully you get one of those bigs that's more important, more focused on showing off his shooting ability than really making good post moves. So you might luck out there a little bit.
You know what, though? But I always looked at it as that they have to guard me, too.
Exactly.
And so you might be able to get yours, but now you got to guard me. So
That's true.
Still there by number 417, Kaya Marr. That one ended up staying down for Natalie Fraley. Fraley out of Lama, Washington, and Queens Middle School. We'll have some substitutions on the floor there for Team 18, 133, Aaliyah Collins, 210.
let's see if we can get Reagan Reed and Wheeler matched up. Well, I wouldn't mind seeing that. I might have to stop the game and get it happen. Let's get 7 on Reed.
One of the things we need to stream next year, or at least capture it and provide on-demand coverage, is that one-on-one drill where you just sort of roll the ball out there and let the players go after it. I love what that does for the energy of the camp.
Well, we just talked about everything being competition. And so if it's a one-on-one drill in front of the whole camp, it's me versus you. Someone's going to win, someone's going to lose. There's no better drill to do it than a loose ball drill. It's going to show a player's heart, who wants the ball. And you got to be able to sacrifice at times. And so, it's a drill that I did a lot as a kid. I don't know if, and I'm sure it's still done, but it's a big-time toughness drill too.
I like the drill that you were doing earlier in camp, the hostage dribble. And either if you don't steal it, you have to do 5 push-ups, and if it gets stolen from you and you're the ball handler, you have to do 5 push-ups. So somebody's going to lose either way, and I love that type of competitiveness because you really can go all out in that drill.
Well, and that's what the game's about. When you play a game, someone's going to win, someone's going to lose. And if you can try to build that into kids that, each time that you step up, every rep, every drill, every day, you have to compete. Someone's going to win, someone's going to lose. And it has to mean something to you.
Oh, it means something to me every time I beat you in anything.
Here you go.
It's a 4-point game here. That pass is too tall for its intended recipient in Jalen Turner.
I agree with you, though. I like to see Wheeler match up with Reagan Reed because, as a competitor, they're the 2 best players on their teams, and you feel like offensively and defensively, you should try to compete on that side of the floor.
That's what you would think.
You're a game within a game.
Now, don't think that I won't stop the game right now and make it happen.
Let's see if you stop the game and make it happen. Might need to take your headset off before you blow our ears out.
That'll be the Chris Hipper version of mic'd up.
Okay, I'll be right back.
He's really about to stop the game again.
We're going to get a matchup here, Wheeler and Reagan Reed.
Okay, we're back live and direct. We got the matchup that we wanted. Hannah Wheeler from Austin versus Reagan Reed. Let's see if the juices pick up.
I like that, man. Well done is always better than well said, Chief.
Absolutely. You live once, right? Make it happen.
2 blocks in a row by Reed. Nice outlet pass and a layup for Team White.
The assist by Fraley. And it was laid in there by Turner. Steal. Stolen by Aaliyah Collins. Couldn't get the layup to go. Mary Davis will bring it across.
And all of a sudden now they get switched back up on each other. I don't understand that.
I'm sure the halftime adjustment will be made.
Turn my mic off for a sec. Hannah. Reagan, you guys guard each other. There you go, good. You guys guard each other. All right, I'm back.
That one off to the left.
And my back, I'm back, okay.
We know. I thought about turning your mic off, but
I just want to see it too as well. I mean, it's something though that if we can't be in it, it's something that I'd like to see because it's going to bring the best out of each other.
it's kind of like that series. I remember when Derrick Rose and the Bulls played against LeBron.
Oh, it was a great series.
That was a great series. And finally, LeBron just said, no more, and D'd Derrick Rose up, unlike anything I've ever seen. And I thought that was some of the best competitiveness. Obviously, the playoffs, so everyone wants to win, but LeBron took it upon himself to make sure he imposed his will on Derrick Rose.
Yep, you love to see it. You know, the competitors, the ones that are focused on going and getting it, they always rise to the challenge. I believe it was a time where Chris Paul ended up guarding Kevin Durant in one of those playoff series. You know,
Yes, I remember that.
Shortest guy on the floor, he takes on the Durantula. It's because at the end of the day, when you get done with the airport test and what's on paper, I'm going to do what it takes to be able to impede this guy's progress when it comes to scoring.
You know, speaking personally, I'm someone that a lot of times doesn't pass the airport test. And when I was a freshman, we had to play Stanford, and we were playing zone, 2-3 zone, and I had Chinea Bumake put on my block. She was the National Player of the Year, and you know, she's 6'3", long and athletic, and I had to figure out a way to try to box her out on every possession. Was I successful all the time? No.
I'm sure she had to work for it.
Absolutely.
I found out of that game. So, yeah, she did.
Can't take them home with you. Jumper off the mark there by Wheeler. Foul on the play going to go against Jayla Eggers. So that will send number 168 to the free throw line, Maya Hughes. That reminds me of a matchup there in the late in the July live period. It was Team Takeover out of the D.C. area. They took on Georgia Sting Avery, coached by Will Avery, the former Duke basketball player. I had that stint in the NBA. There was a player named Olivia Owens. She's maybe about 5'8", going up against Mimi Collins, who's about 6'2", 6'3", one of the best players in the country. And Owens did a much better job guarding her than Alana Davis, who's a post player that signed to go to Memphis, who's much bigger. But Owens, her combination of heart, strength, and speed, she was able to frustrate Collins in a way that, you know, even Davis, who has much more physical stature at her disposal, wasn't able to do. So it was just a great matchup. And you really earn and show things to college coaches that are there on site when you have matchups like that. (19-28), approaching the 2-minute mark. The entry and the easy lay-in there, 168. That's Maya Hughes. Up top now. 4:17 with it. Kaya Marr.
Now, Coach, we were talking a little bit earlier, and this might be a little bit of a random subject, but we were talking about Kevin Durant, and you know, obviously, congratulations to Team USA as they won the gold medal, but now he's moved to Golden State, and everyone has their opinion on the matter. What is yours?
I'm going to say one word right here, and this could go left or right. Legacy. You know, and right now, if you think about guys that have, you know, played in the league though before him, you think about Bird and Magic and Isaiah and Jordan, and I know he had his late stint, Kobe, but those guys all built something though with one ball club. And I'm not saying that his is going to be tarnished, but if he goes to Golden State and they don't win championships, he really isn't going to have much of one. I mean, he's going to be known as probably one of the best players to ever play to not win an NBA championship. There's one guy, you know, that I think of right now from back in the day, Dominique Wilkins, one of the best players on the 80s, never won a championship, and so he'll never really be recognized for how good he was. Now, if he goes to Golden State and they win 4 or 5 in a row, then obviously he made the right choice. But, you know, it's hard to tell a guy that just signed a contract for $100+ million that he made the wrong choice. So some people like it, some people don't. I'd say for me, verdict's still out.
That's a good way to put it, man. I can see both sides of the spectrum. I think, you know, he knew all of the factors, you know, going into it, and I think it all comes down to, you know, what your personal paradigm is. There are some guys, they want to stay put and, you know, let the chips fall where they may. For him, it looks like the end game was more about getting the championships and a better fit. But like you said, the verdict's out. And I like that you left the door open for that, because at the end of the day, it's all about what ends up happening. You look at the LeBron James situation with Miami and all of the quick knee-jerk reactions. He went down there, got a couple, came back and brought Cleveland something that they hadn't had in years. So sometimes we don't give enough time for things to just play themselves out and be able to recap it from there.
You know, this talk, though, can go a lot of different ways, though, and I don't know if we're going to take a break right now for halftime. But this has kind of been a problem with AAU basketball, high school basketball, kids bouncing around from team to team, school to school. And I think that we've seen the pros do it a lot here like the last 5-6 years. So if we see these guys that we look up to bouncing around from team to team, from contract to contract, why wouldn't we do the same thing? I grew up in an era where guys played for the same team for 10, 15 years. And so when it was time for me to pick a school, you stayed there. if things didn't go well, you found a way for it to go good. And now, if things don't go well, it seems that kids can just jump ship and they leave. And I just think that that's kind of what we kind of live in now is the grass is always greener.
Preach.
So,
I couldn't agree more. I was raised on the idea that you have to be resilient. Things are not going to go your way all the time, but your ability to handle certain situations is going to build your character and make you into the person that you are. So I'm the same way. I played for my high school team. My high school team was my club team. And yeah, I got heat for not going to different places. And, you get to college and it's tough and you want to transfer and you want to leave. And you know what? Like, you got to stick it out. You got to be tough, and life's not always easy, but I agree. I think a lot of times, especially these days, if there's any type of friction in the situation people are in, they're quick to jump ship. And that's not the answer, because you're going to run for your problems, but you're always going to have them.
absolutely.
Great points by both of you guys, and that's one of the reasons why I'm such a big supporter or advocate for Markel Fultz when we talked about him not making varsity at DeMatha his sophomore year. And one, he wanted to work on his game, but he was a great player. He just had relatively better players in front of him. Instead of pouting and going to another school, because he had plenty of suitors after him, he stayed put. And now, like you mentioned, he's not only going to be a great asset for the University of Washington, but that's a guy that's definitely going to play professional ball.
Well, and the last thing that I'll add there is that for like a 14, 15-year-old kid, if a 14-year or 15-year-old kid wants to leave, he can't leave by himself.
Yes.
So mom and dad have to be involved in that choice. And I think it comes down to them. Are they going to be the ones that ground you and tell you to stick it out, be tough, find a way? Or are they going to be the ones that help you move and let you know that when things don't go well, find something else? So I think, though, that who's ever on his side has done a great job trying to instill that in him.
I got a chance to watch Markel in practice a couple weeks back before we both went to Australia. And it's the first time I've ever seen him play, and obviously I've heard what a tremendous player he is, but when I was watching him, he looked like he was playing with the ball on a string. It almost looked sick, like unreal. He was floating. Like the way he moves with the ball, he spins in the lane in traffic, and he's so smooth. I'm so excited to watch him this season to see what he does, and interested to see the leadership role he needs to take on, because there's guys that have left. Andrew Andrews was a big part in the reason that they did how they did, and so that leadership role, this team is young. They don't have a ton of experience at a bunch of places, and they're going to need Markel to not even come in and play good right away, but they're going to need him to lead. And it's tough when you've never played college basketball before.
We talked about it, yesterday. I could definitely see your rationale for, that year you won gold with USA Basketball coming straight here to Seattle instead of making the pit stop back in your hometown of San Diego, trying to shorten that curve as much as you could, getting ready for that freshman year.
It's important, and kids these days, I don't think, realize the importance of tough rebound there by Reagan Reed, but the importance of getting in and trying to be as comfortable as possible and minimizing that transition into college.
Hannah, go guard her.
An 11-point game here under the 15-minute mark.
Right there on the floor, white 7, baseline.
Got a foul there on Wheeler. It'll be Team Black's ball there along the baseline. First attempt no good. Persistence paying off though for number 168, Maya Hughes. Got Wheeler and Reagan Reed matched up. Both of these teams going at it, and we'll have a quick stop for free throws by Aaliyah Collins.
Now, Chris, as a parent, obviously your perspective, you were talking about how it goes both ways. As a 14-year-old kid, you don't leave on your own. You're a parent. What are you going to do in the development of your son as he gets older and starts to get into, late middle school and high school, and he has challenges?
I mean, for the most part, challenges are always meant to be overcome. So it depends really what's going on, but you said a key word started with an R, resilient. And things aren't always going to go your way though. But how quickly can you bounce back? And the game of life is like the game of basketball. It moves so quickly from play to play, from day to day that you got to be able to leave the past in the past, not think too far ahead and just focus on right now. So whatever he comes up on, we have to find the best way though for him to handle it, move on with it, and deal with the next. So there's going to be a lot of things. I mean, we deal with things each day, but we got to find a way to do our best job and then move on to the next one.
Good pass ahead there by Reed. They couldn't convert on the layup. Reed not crying over spilled milk. She gets back, blocks that shot, and now brings it the other way.
Nice pass.
Nice catch, too.
Tough.
She's the real deal.
Reed with the block, corralling it, then the assist. That lay in there by 168 and Maya Hughes. Too much air under that pass is going to be broken up. Collins able to retain possession for Team White. It's beat up in the process and we'll head to the line. Collins out of Everett, Washington, representing Seattle Future. Substitutions coming on both sides. We're now 23-40.
Who's ahead, Marcus, black or white?
I believe it's Team Black ahead. Let me verify that for you shortly. Yep. Team Black is ahead. Team 16 ahead of 18.
That's a tough entry pass to make, especially when you're so far off of the post and you're looking at it and you're throwing it in there. It's kind of a turnover waiting to happen.
Well, and I don't know if that post has learned this or not yet, but whenever the ball's on the top and you have somebody high side, she should be pointing to the wing.
Yes.
Easier entry. But that's also something that has to be taught.
Turnover stolen by Fraley. Eggers over to Collins. There's Grace Nice. Nice calling for the screen.
Nice take.
One's crafty, you know where she from. Number 1, Grace Nice. That was a nice move from Puyallup, the Northwest Magic. Class of 2021. Little ball player.
Does it make you feel old when they say 2021?
I have a young mind. I mean, I can't do anything to change that, you know what I mean? So, I stay in shape and stay fresh.
I won't give the publicly correct answer, but I feel old when they say 2021.
Well, you know what, though? When I was 21 years old, stuff like that, I felt the same way. But you get to a certain point where I just don't feel old. I mean, when I get my first gray hair,
that's impressive.
then we can talk about
The first gray hair?
what
Because
do
I think
have
I see
grays?
some on your beard right now.
I mean, if I got grays, then I got to go, dye them probably, right? But no, it doesn't make me feel old. It's I think being involved in the game though is what keeps me young. Is that I'm always surrounded though by young players, and so it kind of keeps me in the loop. As far as me being young, staying fresh, staying in shape, and just kind of keeping up with the game.
Of all your players, do I talk the most smack to you?
We talked about that. Yes, you are clearly number 1.
Okay, I just want to be clear.
Although
'cause-
close second, Nate Robinson.
Okay.
He is close second.
As long as I have the number 1 spot,
He's a close second because I spent the last 48 hours with you.
Oh,
So you're
okay.
clearly 1 right now.
Thank you. I'm proud of my title.
Oh, I know you are. That's what makes you good.
Love the energy that Nate plays the game with, man. That one of his most impressive runs for me was that year where the Bulls were lacerated with injuries, and he in the playoffs became their sole source of offense and really everything energy-wise. as he and Thibodeau again made the most out of a tough roster to play with there in the NBA.
I remember that. He was clutch.
Well, Nate's gift is also his curse. He's so high energy, but he's also streaky though. And Nate, he can come in the game and score 19 points in the fourth, but the next night he's 0 for 6, and and I'll tell him this, and we've talked about this, is trying to be more consistent. And I think that was kind of always his niche, is he was always kind of used as a guy to bring off the bench, for energy. And so the thing is, though, is Nate still got something left in the tank. Somebody has to give him a shot, but man, he's probably one of the hardest workers, along with Plum. Loves to be in the gym, loves to stay in shape, loves the game, and man, he's somebody that I wish well.
And his son is going to be a player. No.
He's got 2 of them, but he's got one going into 4th grade. He's like a little Nate.
Yes.
He's electric. He makes the big play. He's flashy, but he doesn't mean to. But man, he's gonna be a stud.
Knock it down.
I'll get another crack at it. 2 for $1 sale on triples. That one's off. Collins looking to convert, wheeling, dealing, and getting it to stay down.
I like her.
That was a nice move. Defense overplayed, spun back, was able to finish with the left hand.
133, Collins. Where's she from? Monroe, Washington.
Seattle. Future.
So a couple subs being made. It'll be brought across by 408, McKendra Koenig.
Mac's sister has come to a lot of these camps, though. She signed at North Carolina State this past year. She's a freshman there now. Great player, British Columbia. 6-foot point guard, shoots it, a lot of swag.
Ace Koenig.
Tough player, Ace Koenig.
Oh, yeah. Definitely has swag. Very good basketball IQ. And, being based there in the Southeast in Atlanta, love to see players from this part of the country, but also BC, come there and come there with a mission and deliver in front of those college coaches there during the live periods.
Right idea there on that last play. I would have taken one more dribble, jump stop, and laid it up with the right. She just got a little bit carried away, took too many steps. Nice read by Reagan. That shot didn't go, but she was able to make the right basketball play.
Nice gets there, can't finish. They get the offensive rebound. Hey, with you being from the Seattle-Tacoma area originally, Chris, I would love for you to give me, if you had to pick a starting 5 or a top 5 of players to come out of this area, give me your top 5.
I mean, obviously we have 2 pros from Tacoma. I would say the top 5 players in the NBA or that have played. The number 1 is probably Mal Crawford. He's played in the league for a long time. He's done a great job in the league. He'd probably be the best guy. Isaiah Thomas also played at UW from Tacoma, now an all-star. He'd probably be my second guy. If I'm going to build a full team, I got to get a big guy. Right now, Spencer Hawes is in the league. Spencer Hawes also is a dog. Avery Bradley, because he's a lockdown defender from Tacoma, Boston Celtics. And then you got a lot of guys. You got guys like Martell Webster. You got John Brockman, Marvin Williams, Terrence Williams. I mean, there's a lot of different pros. Aaron Brooks. It's tough to get that 5th guy. Luke Ridnour from Blaine. But it's just it's such a hotbed for hoop. And I think that the guys that coach here and train here just do a great job with the kids to give back, to give them a chance to be the next guy. On the girls' side, I know we have I think 2 pros, but I think though by doing a lot of camps like this, it's going to give a lot more girls a chance to do that. And we have a pro team here with the Seattle Storm.
That was a nice move and jumper there by Reagan Reed. She gets the rebound. Pass is going to be broken up there by 207 to Yara Holloman. You mentioned Isaiah Thomas, man. I like what Boston is doing in terms of not only him being a part of that nucleus, but I think Jaylen Brown, a much better draft pick than what the Boston fans thought. I know they were looking forward to Chris Dunn and the hometown kid. That wouldn't have been a bad pick either. But Jaylen Brown is going to be a very good pick for those guys by the time it's all said and done.
Well, I think one of the top things that they did was to bring in the coach,
Oh, yeah.
Brad Stevens. I mean, I think he came in there, we got a ball stuck. Oh, we got a ref that got some hops.
Okay, bro.
Okay. But, I think he's done a good job, though, changing culture there. They went about 6, 7, 8 years. They're just kind of having good team, bad team, good team, bad team. And I think what he's trying to build right now is something to where you can be in the top 8 every single year. And, that's a big time.
Al Horford, a good addition. And you look at how the tables have turned. The Celtics were a thorn in the Hawks' side, nearly pulled off that upset in last year's playoffs. Part of what Horford said is that he sort of embraced that Boston culture over Atlanta. So he feels the same way you do in terms of what they've got brewing there in Beantown.
There's a right way to play the game and a wrong way to do it. And I think that what they're doing is they're doing a lot of right things. It's all based off of hard work, teamwork, playing defense, trying to get these pros to not be too far into their egos and just let them know that it is still all about winning.
Rebound there by Reed. Reed looks like she could play a few more games still. Can't get the jumper to go. There's Kaya Marr.
I'm going to ask this real quick, though, too, to Plum. She hasn't talked to her in a minute. Last year you guys made a great run. Nobody expected it. Nobody expected it but you guys. And so now this year going into it, I would say you guys have an X on your back. Okay, so how's that going to change, like, the preparation or, like, the mindset? And obviously you're going to be a huge part in, like, what the rest of your team feels like. But what's that going to change now knowing, okay, we just were one of the top 4 teams there. And now our goal now is not only to get back there, but probably to contend for a national championship. What's changing with your mindset?
Well, what's unique about what happened last year is in the women's game, it's so predictable who's going to be in that Final Four. So you're right, no one expected it. I think going into this year, knowing how we came together last year, the reason we got where we got was because of leadership. We played together, and like you said, Coach, just with the Boston team, everyone understood their role, and we played to win. So it's one thing to know that. It's one thing to, like, say that, but to go through that experience, it kind of engraved a fire in me. And moving forward, as a senior, I'm trying every day in practice to incorporate that idea that it's about winning. It's about the little things. It's about embracing your role and executing it. So we have a different team. We have a young team, but we still have some veterans that have been through that experiences that know what it takes to win. So I'm really excited. And you could say that we have an X on our back, but I don't think about what other people think. I think about what my people think, and I focus on I'm tunnel vision in terms of the critics or people that predict things. That those are opinions and perspectives don't matter to me. The people that matter to me are the people that I'm competing with every day, my coaches and my teammates that bleed purple.
Okay, so I'll ask you this then too. You talked about that fire, okay? And one thing about that team though, last year is that you had 2 seniors, Lexus Ashley,
Yep.
Walton, that going into these games, they're thinking this is all we have left. So it's easy to have that fire knowing this is it. Like, this is my last run. So now you have a class of freshmen in.
Yep.
They're very, very talented. But do they have that fire? And if they don't, can you give them that fire? Or how long is it going to take? Or can they grasp that? Because that's going to be huge.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. These kids that we have coming in play really hard. But it's different. Because when you're a senior, you know what you have left. And when you're a freshman, you're just wide-eyed and you just want to play hard and have fun.
And you feel like you have 4 years left.
Right.
Like, I have time.
You have time.
Still, right.
You have time. As a leader and a player in the program, I try to lead by an intensity and an example when we practice. So when we're going through drills, I'm yelling, I'm talking, I'm pushing people. I'm always asking, hey, you know what we're in? We're doing this, we're doing that. Get to your spot. I demand a lot out of them. But I think when we start to play and we start to get through preseason, they'll have an idea. But it takes time, and you can't ask somebody to put on shoes they ain't ready to play in.
Amen.
Amen.
It has been a pleasure having you guys here on the mic. And thank you guys for joining us here at the Check Me Out Showcase in Seattle on SUV TV. Until next year, signing off, I'm Marcus Burnett. He's Kelsey Plum. He is the Chris Hippa. We'll see you back here at Check Me Out Showcase 2017.